Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. So we did a video about a week ago called Pardo's Push in DCS World. It's where we represented a real life event called Pardo's Push where a F-4 Phantom pushes another F-4 Phantom via its tailhook in the Vietnam War. We used F-14s and it didn't turn out so good. We got a bit on fire. So you guys have written back and said, hey, that happened with F-86s. They pushed each other in the Korean War. So we've investigated that. We're investigating that now. And we're going to go and try that as well because that's what you want. Pardo's push of 10th March 1967 was preceded by a similar event. Robbie Risner's heroism during the 7.5 years of imprisonment and torture in North Vietnam is legendary. Less known is the fact that he was a jet ace in Korea with 8 confirmed victories. Few are aware, at least in detail, of an incredible feat of flying performed over North Korea by Robbie Risner in an attempt to save the life of another pilot. That courageous act is dismissed with a couple of sentences in Risner's book, The Passing of the Night. A few weeks later, while escorting fighter bombers in an attack on a chemical plant along the Yalu River, Risner tangled with what he describes as the finest fighter pilot he'd ever encountered. Just finished reading a book of the Korean War, the dogfights in the Korean War, and it's just amazing the stuff that was going on there. It's definitely a thing that needs researching more from our point of view. From 30,000 feet to the deck they went, with Risner scoring several solid hits, then across the Yalu into forbidden territory up north towards China, and down the runway of a Chinese airfield where the damaged MiG-15 crashed. All the while, Robbie's wingman, Lieutenant Joe Logan, stayed with the flight protecting his leader. As they climbed back across the Yalu near Antung, Logan's F-86 took a burst of flak. Fuel and hydraulic fluid poured out the belly of its aircraft. With only minutes fuel left, he would, it seemed, have to bail out in enemy territory. But Robbie Risner was not about to lose a fine wingman who was also a close friend. A typical fighter pilot, said Risner, thinks less about risk than about his objective, and Risner's objective was to keep Logan out of enemy hands. Jet ace Risner immediately embarked on an undeniably high-risk venture to achieve that objective. The Air Force had a rescue detachment at Chodo Island, about 60 miles to the north, and with plenty of flak en route. Risner decided to try something, to his knowledge, that had never been done successfully before. He would push the damaged F-86 to Chow Do, where Logan could bail out safely. Risner told Logan to shut down his engine, now almost out of fuel. Then he gently inserted the upper lip of his air intake into the tailpipe of Logan's F-86. It stayed sort of locked there as long as we both maintained stable flight, but the turbulence created by Joe's aircraft made stable flight for me very difficult. There was a point at which I was between the updraft and the downdraft. Change of a few inches ejected me either up or down, Risner recalled. Each time Risner re-established contact between the battered nose of the F-86 and Logan's aircraft was a potential disaster that was made even more likely by the film of hydraulic fluid and jet fuel that covered his windscreen and obscured his vision. It was, one imagines, something like pushing a car at 80 miles an hour down a corduroy road in heavy fog. Miraculously, Risner nudged Joe Logan's F-86 all the way to Chow Do, maintaining an airspeed of 190 knots and enough altitude to stay out of range of automatic weapons. Near the island, Logan bailed out, landing in the water near the shore. Ironically, Risner's heroic effort ended in tragedy. Although Logan was a strong swimmer, he became tangled in his chute lines and drowned before rescues could reach him. But the measure of the heroic act lies not in success, it lies in the doing. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I want you to know that if that ever happens, RC, in a mission, I'm just going to leave you behind. Just so you know.
That's all right.
All right. So we're gonna go and try that now. So stand by.
I'll spend 7 years in a prison camp.
That's funny. We're in our F-86Fs. We are not in China, Korea. We're in the Persian Gulf, but it just makes it all the more sexy. Are you ready, RC?
All set.
Right. You want to get to about 190. I've put almost no fuel in you, so you should be able to fly that speed. So I'm going to unpause now. That exhaust hole is looking very small from here, RC.
I bet.
And the Tomcats, this was quite easy because they had autopilot, but we don't have any autopilot in these little beauties, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. Oh, I am right in your jet wash now, RC. Oh, here I come. I'm going to put it in. You ready? So my cockpit's quite high, isn't it?
Easy.
My cockpit's quite high, so I'm gonna aim for the bottom of your tail, kind of thing. Damn, this is hard. How did he do this, RC?
I don't know.
Oh, we had a rub. Oh, we had a coming together. We had a coming together.
You save it.
You save it. Back into position. Oh my god. Hang on, I'm having a few troubles here. Oh, that's not going to end well. Okay, so that's kind of what we thought was going to happen, RC. So this time we've got a secret trick. Back to spectators. This time I've got a trick up my sleeve. 3, 2, 1, go. Assume the position.
Technically, he didn't have any thrust.
Yeah, but we'll never be able to model that. I want to believe this is possible, RC. I want to. But it's so friggin' hard. We get tiny oscillations from me and you because there's no autopilot. It makes it incredibly difficult to do this.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it.
Even when you fly in formation, you know, you always oscillate up and down a bit, don't you? This, there's no room for error.
I'm pretty stable right now.
Roger. Putting it in. Stand by. I've always got a couple of feet of PIO here. Oh! I blacked out. What happened?
Oh, I blacked out too.
Oh my god!
I bounced off the ground.
Oh, we bounced up! Oh! Oh, that gave me the giggles. That gave me the giggles.
Not immortal. Even though my plane's immortal, I'm not. I'm black.
Oh, you're not? Well, what an odd way to end the day, RC. We appear to be both upside down, pretty much formation, next to Aunt Bessie's house. How we didn't kill Aunt Bessie's house, I just don't know. But, myth busted, at least in DCS. I mean, you just can't do it.
Feels like the last Columbia campaign.
Yeah,
both upside down.
Yeah, right. But also, I've got to say, I know this isn't real life and whatnot. That would the turbulence, the PIO times 2, getting your nozzle inside that bucket is just. I mean, clearly I'm not a good enough pilot, but how you could do that? It was so hard, and you can't see your nose. Don't know. You'll have to call that one. Right.
Yeah.
That's the best we can go, I'm afraid. I hope that was of some use, and I'll see you later.
Uh-oh.
It's happened again! Look at that. That's so funny, right?
Blacked out again.
Wagner!